Hi, and welcome back to our Advanced Squad Leader tutorial series. We are covering the various aspects of the movement phase. In our last installments, we handled paratroopers and glider troops. Now in this installment, we are going to cover cavalry. We've all seen the pictures of the Polish cavalry charging into battle against the invading Germans, and it always piqued our interest. To start, we'll mount up an infantry unit, turning it into a cavalry. Next, we will conduct a charge against the enemy, and finally we will also do a cavalry wave, which is a cavalry version of the human wave. Then we will go through a live version of it as well. There are several things we should clarify about cavalry. First is that they expend movement factors and not movement points. They have 12 movement factors normally, but they can declare a gallop at the start of the movement phase and get an additional 8 movement factors for a total of 20, or they can declare a gallop after they have started moving, but then only add 4 movement factors for a total of 16. Also, when on horseback, the troops suffer -2 dice modifiers to all fire against them. However, they do not suffer leader loss checks, they do not pin, nor do they have heat of battle effects. If they break while riding on the horse, they have to bail out. The horses are attacked at the same time as their riders with the same dice roll, but they do not receive the -2 DRM. The horses are attacked on the star column of the firepower shooting at them. To start, we will have 2 Russian 447 squads in the hex with the 2 full squad counters for the horses. The 447s will mount their horses, which will cost 1/4 of the movement factors of the horses. So 1/4 of 12 is 3. So from this point on, the cavalry units will have 9 movement factors left. If the units then declare a gallop, they can only increase the total MF for the units by 4, for a total of 16. They have already spent 3 MF in mounting the horses, so the counters have 13 movement factors left. If the units had started mounted on the horses and declared a gallop immediately, before any MF were spent, then they would have had 20 movement factors available to them. Let's assume it is the Russian movement phase, and our cavalry units are located here, already mounted, 5 hexes away from the German 467 unit. It's the Russian movement phase, and we are going to go through the motions of charging with the Russians and have the Germans first fire, subsequent fire, and final protective fire to see the effects of the fire on the horses and the riders. As the cavalry units charge, the German first fires while they are 3 hexes away. The roll is a 7. The horses are not affected because 7 is higher than the star value on the 4 column. The riders suffer the -2 DRM, so the result is a 5 for a 1 morale check. Both squads pass by rolling 6 and 2 respectively. They do not pin, and they do not heat of battle. The Russians travel 1 more hex. The German fires again in subsequent first fire and rolls a 6 on the 2 firepower column. Again, the horses are not affected, but the units get a morale check of 1. This time, 1 squad fails and has to bail out. It fails to bail out the morale check, so it's reduced to a broken half squad. The still mounted 447 goes 1 more hex, and the German final protective fires, but rolls a 9 and breaks. Now the Russians pay the 1 MF to enter the hex with the Germans, and then the additional 3 movement factors to carry out the charge attack, which will be on the 12 firepower column because of the triple point blank fire, and cavalry is not halved for being mounted while charging. Now we can go through a quick example of a cavalry wave. It follows the same rules as a human wave in that you need to have a leader involved. However, you only need an average of 1 squad equivalent in each of the 3 continuous hexes, and any country can conduct a cavalry wave. The units involved do not get an increase in morale. Each unit does not have to end up in an enemy-occupied hex, but at least 1 unit involved in the wave has to charge an enemy unit. Our cavalry wave will start here, and for simplicity purposes, we are stating that all 3 units are charging. The target for the charge is the 467. The first impulse costs 1 MF. The second impulse costs 1.5 MF due to entering the grain, for a total of 2.5 MF. The next impulse costs another 1.5 MF due to the grain, for a total of 4. Last impulse will cost a total of 4.5 MF. 1.5 MF to enter the grain, hex where the Germans are located, and the 3 MF to conduct the attack, for a total of 8.5 MF. Some final points on cavalry. Cavalry firepower is halved as mounted fire except during the charge attack. The total portage capacity of the horses is the portage of the infantry riding the horses. An SMC can split away from the cavalry unit it is stacked with at any time by simply pulling a single horse counter and riding off. Now we can go through a live cavalry charge and cavalry wave to see how it works. Hello, and welcome to the live demonstration of the cavalry charge in advanced squad leader. The two 447s here are cavalry, and they're going to be charging the 467 stated over there. Now, it is the Russian movement phase. The Russian will have to clear a gallop, so technically the two units here have 20 movement factors available to them, but they won't need them. So now, the movement phase and the Russians go here for 1. The German player decides that he's going to first fire at the guy that's there. He rolls an 8. Now normally it'd be -2 against the cavalry. However, this is a 1 hindrance, so it's a -1. So it's on the 7 on the 4 column, which is basically nothing. So the German will be marked to the first fire counter. They go 1 more hex. The German player decides to subsequent first fire at them for a total of 2. Will be down 2, but because the hindrance is 2 down 1. He rolls 9. 8 on the 2 column is basically nothing. The German will be marked with a final fire counter at this point. Now the Russians get to go there. The German decides to FPF at this point. He rolls and rolls a 7. Now he rolls a 7 on the 4 column, because this is area fire FPF, which goes down to a 5 on the infantry, and the horses are not affected. Now the infantry has to roll a normal morale check. The first morale check 1 rather. The first 447 is fine. Okay, and then we have the other 447. If I can get my hands out of the way. The other 447 is fine. No, he breaks. He breaks, and now he has to bail out. And he fails to bail out, so he's a broken half squad. And the horses basically are gone at this point for him. They just bolted off. Now, this Russian squad and horse goes in there. The German gets the FPF again. Okay, this time it's tripled but halved for a total of 6. So a 6, a 4 on the 6 is a morale check of 2, and also a 6 exactly what he needed to affect the horses. So the horses are going to have a half squad also. The Russian squad did not survive. He breaks. Fails to bail out, and he's down to a broken half squad as well. So this cavalry charge didn't make it. So, there's a live demonstration for the cavalry wave. Like I said, it works just like the UN wave does, except with horses. And you only need 3 squad equivalents per 1 squad equivalent per hex, with at least 3 continuous hexes. These 3 will be charging the 467 in a wave. The first impulse, they go here for a total of 1. The German player decides that he wants to shoot. He's going to shoot over there at the 80 leader and those guys. The 5 would be -2. However, he's got the hindrance to the grain, so it's a -1. So a 4 on the 4, according to this table, results in a 1 morale check on the infantry. A 5 on the 4 is exactly what you needed
to hit the horses. So the horses are reduced to a half squad. We'll take care of that in a second. The infantry is going to take a 1 morale check. So now, the leader is good, and the squad breaks. No, I'm sorry, the squad's fine. Which actually works out well. So now, this is reduced to a half unit of horses. Random selection, so now, the 628 will break down to 2 328s. The 1 328 will have to bail out, and he will pass his bailout. The other 328 will stay on the horse. Continuing the example, now that I have the right counters, the next impulse, they go to here. 1, 1, but now it costs 1.5 because they're going through the grain. The German decides to hold his fire for the moment. So now they're at 1.5. The next impulse will be here, here, and here for a total of 4. An additional 1.5 hex is going to the grain. Now the German decides to fire at the stack with the 8-0 right in front of him for a total of 4 down 2. A 1 on the 4. That's bad. Well, the horses are reduced again. Actually, the horses are lost. Okay, so that's gone. Now the infantry suffered a down 2 result, -2 or 1 on the 4 column, which results in a 1 KAA. Random selection will determine who gets killed. The 8-0 is the leader is the colored die. The leader dies, and the squad breaks because of the half squad breaks with the KA. Now, because the horse got shot out, the half squad has to do a morale check for the bailout. And it makes it. So now you have a broken Russian there. The wave is going to continue there and there for 5.5. The German can final protective fire if he wishes, which he does. He's going to final protective fire at that squad. It doesn't do anything, and he breaks. Okay. Now, both squads can enter this hex, if they so desire, and they can attack this guy for a total of 24, because both squads are 8. 8 tripled is 24 on the 24 column. And that is how the cavalry wave works.
That concludes our presentation on cavalry. As I rewatched the movie, I saw several mistakes that I made. Not on purpose, unfortunately. Drop me a note in the comment section below if you figure them out. If you have any thoughts, questions, or suggestions, feel free to contact us at jdhobbies@live.com, our new website, www.table-top-war-games.com, and at our usual website, www.antoinettehobbies.com. If you'd like to get a look at our store, just do a Google search and look for J&D Hobbies Massapequa Park. And like always, thanks for watching.